How you doing, everybody? Welcome back to Sonic Adventure DX, where things are not looking too bright for all of us here. Tikal's attempts to seal Chaos in the Master Emerald failed when Eggman shattered the Master Emerald at the beginning of the story. Her attempts to keep the Chaos Emeralds away from the Master Emerald failed when Knuckles unknowingly brought them back to his island at the end of his story. And when Chaos got the last Emerald back in the Mystic Ruins there, well, it's not looking good. Add that to the fact that Station Square is situated next to a large body of water and, well, hold on to your hats, folks. This is gonna be a bumpy ride.
If I wasn't just dreaming, that monster is a real menace. Eggman!
How'd he get the egg carrier working again?
Looks like he's after Chaos too.
This egg carrier tool was made because something like this could happen. You have defied your master's stupid use.
Okay, so it's not the egg carrier, it's a second one that you pulled right out of your ass, and now you're using mini lasers to try to kill him, which is only pissing him off more. This is definitely not the best plan, Eggman. I'm just saying. Ow.
I've had enough. Who do you think you are, anyway? Oh, it's you! The one who sealed Chaos in the Master Emerald. Tikal.
My heart has always been in the Master Emerald along with Chaos's. Now he's filled with anger and sadness.
Well, if you let us get the last Chaos Emerald, that might not have happened.
He'll eventually destroy the world like he did before.
But you had to interrupt us. Now I know where Knuckles gets his knuckleheadedness from.
Look! He's absorbed the Emerald's power. He must be sealed in the Master Emerald now.
How can that help? It won't change how he feels inside, will it? His heart will still remain in turmoil, and his anger just won't vanish. He'll just be trapped forever.
Just like last time.
What choice do we have?
Well, plenty, frankly, because I don't want history to repeat itself.
Hey, Sonic!
Amy!
And Gamma's bird. Oh.
Here, take this!
Hey guys, what's up?
Chaos only used the negative power of the emeralds. Sonic, you should be able to harness their real power.
As much as I hate to admit it, I think Tails is right about this.
Go, Sonic! Yeah, Sonic!
Sonic! Negative forces aren't the only way to empower the Chaos Emerald. make them work. Our hearts together form awesome power.
And so we come to the final boss of the game, Supersonic vs. Perfect Chaos. The Chaos Emerald power will collide in this battle. And Supersonic has a different mechanic than any other character that we've used in the game, in that he's all about speed. Essentially, Supersonic is powered by his ring counter. His ring counter depletes by 1 ring per second, and that will be really important over the course of the entire battle because you have to reach top speed in order to get inside of Chaos and damage his brain, his weak spot. When you reach top speed, a blue blur will appear around Sonic, and once that happens and you run into Chaos, you'll have an 100% chance of, you'll basically guaranteed in getting up to him and hitting his brain there. If you aren't at top speed, there is still a chance of getting up there, but that's only if you're really close to top speed. If you're not at top speed, he'll just eject you out of his body and you'll have to start over, which means your ring counter will go down faster, and eventually you'll run out of rings to grab on these platforms to keep it up, so you'll want to try to defeat him pretty quickly. Fortunately, he only has 3 hit points, so it's really not that big of an issue, to be honest with you. Kind of anticlimactic for a final boss fight, you would think. Oh, but it's not over yet. Chaos is back, and now he's in his second phase, and his second phase is a little bit more tricky to deal with because now the lasers that he shoots out at the beginning when he's at long range from you, they actually home in on your position relatively decently. Some of them don't, but most of them do, and they're kind of annoying because you can get stuck on them or stuck on the terrain, and then it's just bothersome, really. In order to maintain supersonic speed, one thing that you can do that I didn't do in this battle is you can actually jump in order to, besides going over boost pads, of course, you can actually jump and not do a homing attack because a homing attack doesn't get him up to top speed. If you actually jump and continuously hold down the jump button, you'll actually gain speed and maintain your speed faster than you would just by running around like this. But I didn't do that because, well, I don't honestly know. I knew that you could do that, I just didn't really jump that much. I felt like I could control him a little bit easier in getting around these tornadoes and the laser thing if he was on the ground, because then I'm just using the control stick to control him, I suppose. So I guess I was just kind of trying to make sure. But at this point in the boss fight, it's kind of a now or never moment because really, you got to look at my ring counter. I've been grabbing as many rings, well, most of the rings that I could grab along the way to beating him. So if you don't beat him pretty soon, you're going to run out of rings. But thankfully, I beat him right here. You're finished, Chaos!
Hey, I'll play with you some other time.
Oh, Sonic. You have no idea how ironic that statement is. Oh god, the awful singing! It's coming back! Make it stop!
Chaos has changed again, this time for the better.
Yeah! Supersonic must have neutralized it, so it's nice again.
These are the Chow you were protecting. They stayed alive for generations and now live peacefully with humans. Fighting's over, harmony's restored, and life goes on. Thank you so much.
All's well that ends well, right? Sonic?
Well, Tails, you should know by now from hanging out with Sonic so much. Never a dull moment for the world's fastest hedgehog. And that's the game, ladies and gentlemen. Oh man, it's been an incredible ride for this one. Just really quickly, some thoughts on the last story. The way that I structured it, I think I did pretty well in clearing up any confusion and all of that sort of stuff, but going into this, before I actually started watching it, I kind of felt like it was kind of tacked on, really. It's really difficult if you haven't played the game before, or if you haven't played it as many times as I have, to really see how this story attaches to everything else, because you don't see the flashbacks for Tikal's flashbacks. You can't watch them whenever you want, so you have to kind of remember them from the game itself, and sometimes that's a little bit difficult, especially depending on how you played the game. Sometimes you may not have seen a flashback for a long time once you're finished playing the game, or you may put it down. So you basically, it feels tacked on, but the way that I structured it, hopefully it didn't feel tacked on for anybody. You know, there are a few things that they kind of pulled out of their asses, like the Egg Carrier 2, but other than that, I think it's very well done, and it's a fitting ending to this game. So, if you know what's going on, that is. So, and the theme playing in the background of the credits, and the motif of the first part of Perfect Chaos is boss fight. And the main theme for the entire game is called Open Your Heart by Crush 40. I think it's really fitting. It's hard rockin', and you know, it's a Sonic game, so since Sonic's theme song was more hard rockin', they would want to get a hard rockin' theme that was really epic and really summarized everything that the game was about. And I think they did a really good job with this one, so those are my thoughts on the last story. Now for the game as a whole. It's one of my favorite games of all time, and I think it pretty much, if you are out to do any kind of video game development, like I know a friend of mine is, because he just graduated about it, this is practically required reading in my book, as far as, you know, learning how to do stuff, because, I mean, this game, it maintains speed and flow, while also, you know, being incredibly epic and fun to play at the same time, so I really like how the graphics of the game were not only, they were the same in the cutscene and in the gameplay. So it kind of felt like it was a high processed, you know, well-oiled machine, because the graphics were so crisp in not only cutscenes but also in the actual game itself. There were a few ups and downs with them, and I'll get into those in a second, but that was good. You know, that was all pretty good. The gameplay is really cool. I love the variety of modes that they give you, so you're never really doing the same thing over and over again. There isn't too much repetition. It never gets dull or boring. There's just enough of everything. Well, except for the fishing, because that's always dull, but there's just enough of everything else to make it really shine through, you know what I mean? The music is great. Like, I can't explain how memorable the entire soundtrack is. It's just incredible. I mean, this is probably the only game where every single track I will recognize what it's from just by listening to like the first few seconds of it. But you know, I think that most of the game is great, and I would absolutely give it a seal of recommendation. If you have not played this game, well, it's on the PSN and Xbox Live right now, so you could go out and get it, although they didn't really do much to enhance it for these, and that's one of the things I kind of want to talk about, because I know that a lot of one of the things, well, the two problems that people had mostly with the game as I was going through this, the ones that hadn't played it before, were that the graphics of the lip syncing especially were kind of choppy, or really choppy, honestly, and the camera angles were pretty bad. Now, I mean, I can understand where you're coming from with that, because they definitely needed to enhance that, and the point of an enhanced remake is to kind of take the problems that they had in the early games and kind of, you know, enhance it with new technology. Like, by 2003, when this version of the game came out, or even, you know, nowadays when the game came out for the PSN or Xbox Live, they have access to greater technology, so they can make the camera angles more fluent, and they can make it so that the lip syncing is a little better if they actually went back and did some work. But they didn't really do that, and I think that kind of ruins the point of a whole enhanced remake, you know what I mean? But you gotta kind of look at it this way, I think. Like, yes, they could have done a better job, but for a game that came out in 1998, this was pretty solid 3D platforming. The camera angles in 3D were really difficult to manipulate back in 1998, and honestly, these camera problems and issues that they had in this game were pretty much a thing of the time. Like, people really didn't know how to manipulate the camera properly to make it good in 3D games at that point. Like, I mean, I can't think of a single game that came out before like 2004 or 5, when they started really understanding how the camera in 3D games worked, that would really, you know, capture a fluent camera. So it kind of, you know, that's one of the things that they did with that. And the choppy lip syncing, that was also, you know, part of the times. Like, even if you turn on the Japanese, the lip syncing still looks pretty bad. But that was, like I said, that was another thing at the time. There was virtually no lip syncing in any game. Like, the first game that I knew that had solid lip syncing was Kingdom Hearts, which I just finished on my stream, and that was like, it was absolutely incredible. It blew me away, and it also required a huge amount of load times in order to do. Sonic Adventure did not have the kind of time in between scenes that Kingdom Hearts did, because the gummy ships acted as loading screens, essentially, to load up good lip syncing. So, I mean, like I said, an enhanced remake deserves better than what it got, and the fact of the matter is they could have done more work in doing this rather than just porting it from the Dreamcast and adding a couple of new modes to it. But overall, I think the game is a solid experience that anyone can enjoy if they just take a look at it and take a step back from the camera angles and from the bad lip syncing, even though they're a little distracting, and kind of just sit back and pretend like they're, you know, in their childhood again. Because when I was 8 years old, I thought this game was incredible. It was amazing for me. So if you can look at it the same way, I think you'll really enjoy Sonic Adventure. So, like I said, seal of recommendation, and that's about it for Sonic Adventure DX. I hope you guys have enjoyed the playthrough so far, because I have a few bonus episodes planned to show off all of the different things that you can do in this game. This game has incredible replayability, as I'll be showing off after this. But for now, that's all for Sonic Adventure DX. So I'll be seeing you guys in the bonus episodes. I hope you enjoyed this playthrough as much as I have. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Take care.